Hi, welcome back to Shelf Starters. Today we're talking about 4 different poems in one go, all Anglo-Saxon, following on from Judith last week. So where do we want to begin? Do we want to begin with any general themes?
Yes, I guess so. Well, I guess the thing to note is we're talking about the four poems that are very, very short and all elegiac.
Yeah, a bit of a departure from the epics that we've been reading.
Yeah, they are, quite a departure, I think. They're a little confusing, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that that's an unusual thing to say about them. It's not.
Yes, especially one of them. One of them is just almost incoherent. Yeah.
And you wonder why we have them at all. But I guess half the reason we have them is because they were, they're such early works. But you wonder why they were written in the first place, or why they were produced in the first place. Like what the point is.
Well, I think they're probably just what we have remaining. I would assume that there were a lot more elegies out there, but this is what we have left. And yeah, I feel like there's a bit of a mix, and it sounds like we might have some differing opinions as well about the poems. So
let's start with one first, obviously.
So the Wanderer, okay. Well, I think the Wanderer is interesting because it talks about loneliness.
Yes.
So this is told from the perspective of a poet who was once part of this Lord Retainer relationship group with all his friends. He talks about the mead hall and all these fun times that they used to have when they were part of like a band of fighters or whatever. Yeah. And now he's on his own, wandering the seas and things, and you get a real sense of loneliness. So I think this poem really touches on the need for human connection in a way that I actually really liked.
Yes.
This is my favorite of the 4.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so the saddest.
Yes, but I think that's why, because this is the only one actually of all the 4 here that I felt any emotion as a reaction to when I was reading it.
All right. And so must you feel emotional?
In a poem? Well, in an elegy.
In an elegy.
I would say yes. Right. You should.
Yeah. Yes. So, all right. So the loneliness, the isolation, yes.
Yeah, and I got a real sense of now this, again, I know we mentioned this I think with Judith last time, but the translator is really important here, because I actually read, so we've got the Wanderer in the Norton, but all of these poems also appear in this anthology that I also was reading to get there's some extra poems in here as well. So this is the Anglo-Saxon World, an anthology, and I read the poems in here, and they are slightly different with how they've been translated. So when you get to like the literary techniques that you really enjoy and things like that, you do have to give some credit to whoever did the translation.
Most certainly you do. Yes. Yes, and that's so interesting. So can you think of any of the differences immediately? Can you point any of those out?
Yes. So what I really liked was this contrast between warmth and coldness. So he associates actual physical warmth with the fun, friendly atmosphere, of when he was with all his friends. And then you get the coldness of him on his own. And I thought the imagery there was really lovely. And I think I took down some quotes, which then I couldn't find in the actual Norton edition. So it was, I left that place in wretchedness, plowed the icy waves with winter in my heart.
Yes.
And I think that in here, I should have written down which line it was, so that was easy.
It does talk about the waves, I think. It talks about
I fared there for over the waves bed, winter weary, longing for a hall and a lord of rings. So we got again the ring bearer. Ring giver, rather, not ring bearer. In the mead hall. But I thought that for some reason it felt I preferred the imagery from the translation in the Anglo-Saxon one. So I should put down below like who the different translators were, so you can check both versions out and see which you prefer. It does say a heart freezing frost.
Yes, it does. So yes, it's winter weary, the heart freezing frost, certainly. But it's more direct, I suppose, because it talks literally about the cruelty of a travelling companion, so it's really quite straightforward. Perhaps it's the more poetic language that is actually missing from this translation. Is that?
Yeah, I think so. At least that's how I felt when I think I got more out of this translation. So yeah, I'll link them below so we can have a look. But yeah, I think what was interesting with this one is, I mean, yes, the idea of human companionship is throughout the ages. That's something that we're always going to be dealing with. But here there's that extra element of your entire purpose in life as a retainer is to be there with your Lord, to serve, and to have that loyalty. And the worst thing that can possibly happen to you is to be exiled or be alone somewhere without anyone to follow. So that's what I thought was really, it added an element to this poem that I thought was really interesting. So yeah, this was my favorite one. And then at the end there's a message.
Sorry, Rosie, I like also the reference to fate. That's really
yes, so fate is inflexible was the quote I wrote down here.
Fate is firmly set. Yeah.
And then the end message here. So brave is the man who holds to his beliefs, nor shall he ever show the sorrow in his heart before he knows how he can hope to heal it. It is best for a man to seek mercy and comfort from the Father in heaven, where security stands for us all.
Yeah.
That was the ending message.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. So being true to yourself and stick to your loyalty. Yes. Yeah. And what did you think about Wolf, the next two?
Yes, the next one, Wolf and I don't know how to say this, but Wolf and Eidweser?
Eidweser, I would have thought.
Or Eidweser?
Yeah.
No idea.
And the Wife's Lament.
Yes, and I have an extra thing to add to the Wife's Lament. But so Wolf and Eidweser, the important thing for this one is that there's only two elegies that we have from this time period that are written from the perspective of a woman.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, that was interesting. But this is the one that is super incoherent, where it feels like you're missing background information.
Yes, because you can't tell whether we're talking about a wife and her husband or
a wife and her lover.
Yes, it's really confusing. So we don't really know who Wolf exactly is.
Yeah.
It's pretty confusing, isn't it? But we do know we've got the refrain, haven't we? We are apart. Wolf is on one isle, I am on another.
Yeah. So again, we get the sense of separation, but we're just not sure what the relationship's supposed to be.
Yeah, we don't know who they are or what happened exactly. It's really it's complete. And so yes, you're left with actually no idea of what the purpose of this little elegy exactly.
Yeah. And I think so what's interesting is that both the Norton and also this edition tried to position this as like it's the point of the poem that like you get to fill in the gaps with your imagination and like and yeah, that's what makes it so fun now. But I definitely disagree with that. I just think that it feels like a fragment, and we don't have it.
Certainly feels like a fragment. That's absolutely. It's just like this is all the bits that we only found this much. That's how I feel. Like all the rest of the story is actually missing. Yeah. So it's a little bit annoying, but fortunately it's very, very short. So it doesn't.
Yeah, a little disappointing. Let's see if I wrote anything else down about it. No. Oh yes. So Eidweser apparently literally means property watcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that could be referring to the husband. Yep. So Eidweser might be her husband, in which case Wolf might be a lover, but all of it's speculation.
No, we don't know. We just got to fill in. I think, in my opinion, you've got to fill in too many gaps to really make that.
Yeah.
Like it loses its joy.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that one, not a favourite from either of us.
No, definitely not. The Wife's Lament, well, this was a slightly meatier one, wasn't it?
Yes. What did you?
But still with questions, because we actually don't really know. In this one, I
don't
really understand why, and I don't even understand, does the husband hate her? Did he push her away and hate her? What actually happened here? A happy pair.
So the husband and wife are separated. That's what we know. The husband and wife are not together, and the wife is upset about that.
Yes, but I don't know if they're apart because he never was going to be with her, like he never was with her.
Yeah, he exiled her or something.
And was it a marriage of convenience, and he didn't love her really ever, or what? I don't know. It's more interesting. Weirdly, when I was reading this, I started thinking about Medea, because it kind of reminded me of that idea of a man marrying someone, and the someone comes from outside, and when he takes her to his kingdom, his realm, she is an outcast. She's isolated. Because the rest of the kingdom kind of resents her presence and considers her, not one of them. And it kind of reminded me of that, that backstory. Yeah. That's what.
So, because they do think that she is, what do they call it, a peace weaver or something?
Yes, a peace weaver, which means you're married, like it's an arranged marriage
from a different clan.
Political purposes, really. Yeah, and that made me just think of Medea. All of that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So I quite liked it.
And what's interesting with this one, so you won't have it because you just read the poems from the actual anthology, but there is another poem that is not necessarily, we don't know that they're connected, but it's nice to think that they are. So we have the wife's lament, and then after that we also have the husband's message, and this is told from the perspective of a man who is separated from his wife, and people would like to think that this is kind of like the response to the wife's lament. It is saying like that, he misses her and that kind of thing. So maybe it could be like, and we don't know if they're connected at all. So but he does seem to like keep reminding the woman of their marriage oath. So he seemed a little bit anxious about their separation, like that she might go do something, she might cheat on him or something else, because he does bring it up, their marriage oath, up twice in the poem as a repeated thing. And then the other interesting thing that I found that I actually liked in this one was there's a little like runic message thing, like a code spelt out in runes. And apparently that could be interpreted as sun, path, ocean, joy, man. As in, like that's what each of the runes stand for, which could be read to mean take the southern path over the sea, and there you will be happy again. Your man awaits you.
Oh, so
it's quite nice.
You did like her. All good.
Yeah, so it's like a little code message being like, I miss you, come back, which I think is quite a nice response to the wife's lament, if that is what it is.
Well, it's really different from that line where she says, now far or near I must bear the malice of the man I love.
Yes, because that's right, because it seems like he has done something wrong.
Yes.
And so she's been punished as well.
Being cast out. Yeah, yes.
For his mistakes. Yeah.
His wrongdoing. Yeah.
So I think when you have those two together, it kind of forms like more of an interesting plot. And again, you're piecing things together from what we have, and we're trying to like imagine that it's something much more exciting than maybe it actually is. Yeah. But I think that kind of does give us a little bit more to go off. That makes it a little bit more interesting.
It definitely felt like a woman's voice.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. Kind of.
Yeah.
In this collection. Yeah. So anyway, then we get to the ruin. So now
the ruin,
an actual building.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this was your favorite?
Yeah, I liked it. It was kind of cool. You know why I liked it? Actually, it was because the building being described is obviously a building in, it's a Roman bath. It's a bathhouse that's being described, and it's talking, how it was, and it compares what a joyful, full of life place it once was, and then how it's sadly deserted and decayed and run down since they've all gone off to war and they're not there to use it anymore. And I just remembered the time we've been to Bath together twice, but the second time we went to Bath, we got there in the evening in summertime, and it was going to be light until 9-10 o'clock at night, and we were really tired from traveling to get there. And remember this? And we were staying at a guest house. And then I said to them, is there anything, we could do this evening? Like, if we wanted to go out. looking around at my family, realizing everyone was exhausted and no one actually wanted to go anywhere. And they said, yes, we have night tours of the baths. The baths are open at night time and it's a really lovely thing to do. And I forced you all, remember? And you and I were, and it was just,
I mean, you don't have to ever force me, because the baths I love. So when we first went to the Roman baths, it was with the school group, and I studied Latin, and I was so excited for this moment. I've been waiting for it the entire trip. And so we went off and did like the full tour. And I like was taking a long time because I was really interested in every single part of the exhibit, that they all went off without me. They got annoyed with me because I was taking so long.
That's right. Well,
and then I was like not allowed to spend time and drink the holy water at the end because
and do all the things you do. But no,
yeah.
So you're quite right. Of course, I didn't need to force you, but the rest of the family group wasn't over.
The rest of the family a little bit harder. Yeah.
When we got there, even though they had gone unwillingly, everyone just fell in love with the evening. It was so special. It was it was very uncrowded, but there was also, it was lit so beautifully that there was a beautiful feeling there, and it was warm, and it just felt, you could feel the liveliness that would have been. And I got that from this poem. Did you not?
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I always love thinking about the bars and things like that, and I liked that reference, but to me, this wasn't much new. Like, I feel like maybe because I've also read quite a lot of romantic literature, like the idea of coming across an old building and imagining you know, what it was used for originally. Like, I just feel like I've seen it a lot before, and I didn't get I didn't get much of like the poet's personality or anything coming through.
Well, no, I guess not, because it's about the building rather.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think that's what I like in a poem, is I like.
He managed to bring the building absolutely to life. I mean, you know, public halls were bright with lofty gables, bathhouses many, great the cheerful noise, and many mead halls filled with human pleasures. I felt that, and that's what I remembered that night, feeling the same way. I just thought that was so wonderful.
And then the contrast to when it gets really, when it all crumbles, it gets very dark. So death took all those valiant men away.
Yes.
The city crumbled.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was quite sad. I mean, very sad.
Yeah.
But no, I enjoyed that. I thought it was really lovely. So yes.
So now we've read all of the poems from the Anglo-Saxon period that are included in the anthology. Yes. We've still got the riddles next week.
Yes.
Which I think we could do a little bit differently. But of everything that we've read so far, do you want to put them in order of your favorites?
Ooh, big issue there. Okay, well, I'm actually, no, not that hard for me. I'm putting Judith as number one.
Yeah.
I liked her more than Beowulf.
Wow, yeah.
We admit such things. I just thought she was such a cool dude. I like that one. So yeah, I'm going with Judith as my number one. What's your number one?
My number one is Beowulf.
Yeah, I knew you'd
followed by Judith.
So I'm going the other way around. I'm going Judith, then Beowulf. Okay. Even though that's obviously weird and you wouldn't read them that way around.
No, I don't think it's that weird. I think Judith is an amazing epic. I can totally see that. I think it is pretty clear though that those two pieces are they just are the better works, I think, from what we've read. Yeah.
They're the total standouts. And I know you're going to say The Wanderer.
Yes.
Next. I can just tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just try and be slightly controversial then. And I'll go with I'll go with my Roman baths. I'll go with The Ruin.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got, and then my next one might be Dream of the Rood.
Yes, I'm going with The Rood. Actually, I think put The Rood above The Ruin. But I'm going to go
because it was quite fun.
Yeah, Rood then Ruin. Rood then Ruin.
Yeah. And then what would I do? Maybe The Wife's Lament.
Yes. I'm definitely going to put the other one last.
Wolf and Eadweisel.
Yes. Not my faves.
See, I put Bede last. Because although the story is interesting, the actual poem itself is 4 lines of just being like, God is great.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
A little bit boring.
Yeah. Agreed. Actually, agreed.
So I think we can both agree that Wolf and Eadwacer and then Bede are like the bottom.
They're meh ones.
Just meh. Yeah.
And are we not going to talk about the riddles, Rosie?
Do you want to do them now?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, we can. What I was thinking with the riddles is we could try. Have you read them all?
Yeah. Well, 3. There's only 3.
Yeah, the 3. Okay, so we can talk about them, and then what I thought we could do from this one, because this has some different riddles in it. I thought I could read some to you and you try and guess what they are.
Nice. Okay. So these ones were, I thought, really easy. So these
really okay.
Yeah, these are so they're the enigmas, aren't they? They're from that tradition called enigma. This is where we get this whole idea of being enigmatic. Cool. And they're really quite learned. They're quite highbrow, apparently. This particular lot from Exeter. That's what I read.
Yes, the Exeter manuscript. Yeah.
So I was like going in thinking this is all going to be like, really very lofty stuff and difficult. And honestly, I was reading the first riddle, riddle 1, and I got to the second line and I went, oh, it's obviously a plough.
Oh, well, good. That's very smart, because I could kind of get the first one, but not really. The second one totally was too hard for me. And the third one I got.
Rosie, I was like, okay, so it's like mummification. And then I just, then I started really thinking, okay, it's feeling like something that you like hard. Then I thought book. And then I just went, okay, it's possibly the Bible. It's like parchment. Like they're making.
So you are good at these. So maybe you will get some of these ones here.
Vibes I had when I read it. So yes, I did not think. I don't know why. I did not think that was hard. And the third one, I just thought I must be wrong because it's so obviously a bookworm. And then I thought maybe I'm wrong that was so that took like 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, that's the only one that I was pretty confident about.
So that just threw me though, because I thought it shouldn't be that obviously easy. But then I look at the subtlets.
Because it references a worm and it says a moth eating words. So you're like, I mean, these are still images that we use today.
Yes. So there was nothing
we're talking about.
But in the Bible one, I mean, I thought the same, it just made me go straight to mummification and year 7 history,
Yeah, but how would you go from there to the Bible?
Because it kept talking about splendid works and glory and all this stuff and being.
I think it was just so long that it took me in too many directions.
But it said it was useful to men, name is famous, good to men, sacred. And then I just thought Bible. Because I knew it was to do with books.
Right. Yeah, I guess.
Making parchment type of thing.
Yeah, the hero clothed me then with boards to guard me, stretched hide over me, decked me with gold.
Yeah. So
that's embellished me. Yeah. So it's all the decorating it into the nice.
First I thought, oh, it's like a mummy. And then I realised.
What I quite like about these, aside from the fact that it's kind of fun that you actually have a challenge to yourself while you're reading them, is they're not like our riddles, which are quite short. Like modern day riddles are short and that's it. They are like poems as well.
Yeah.
Like there is imagery in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the hinting process. The hints are much more beautiful. They're poetic.
Yeah, it's filled with metaphors and things, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So shall I test you on some then?
Oh yes, but
if I can find some in here.
Miserably.
I'll try to find some that are reasonable because yeah, let's see.
Where are they coming from?
I wasn't prepared for this, so I'll have to sort through it. Let's see.
Is this coming from your other publication?
Yeah, from the Anglo-Saxon world. And I guess in the comments below, you can pause the video before I give the answer and make your guesses as well. And we can see how many people actually get it right.
See if any of us can get this right, because I bet it's good.
Yeah, which could be hard. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll do this one first and then I'll choose some more. Okay. The deep sea suckled me. The waves sounded over me. Rollers were my coverlet as I rested on my bed. I have no feet and frequently open my mouth to the flood. Sooner or later, some man will consume me who cares nothing for my shell.
Oyster.
With the point of his... Yes. How the hell? You didn't even get to the full thing.
Oysters are about the mollusky thing in the middle. That's the big
Yeah. God, you're good at these. Okay, I'm going to find one that's more challenging then. Okay. On Earth, there's a warrior of curious origin. He's created gleaming by 2 dumb creatures for the benefit of men. Foe bears him against foe to inflict harm. Women often fetter him, strong as he is. If maidens and men care for him with due consideration and feed him frequently, he'll faithfully obey them and serve them well. Men will succor?
Yes.
Never actually said that out loud.
Yeah.
Him for the warmth he offers in return, but this warrior will savage anyone who permits him to become too proud.
Oh, sounds like your own heart. Ego. Heart.
It's not, but think more natural.
So it's to do with nature.
Yeah, less metaphoric.
Okay, so not metaphoric. Okay, what's the beginning again? Men.
On Earth, there's a warrior of curious origin. He is created gleaming by two dumb creatures for the benefit of men. Foe bears him against foe to inflict harm. Women often fetter him, strong as he is. If maidens and men care for him with due consideration and feed him frequently, he'll faithfully obey them and serve them well. Men will succor him for the warmth he offers in return, but this warrior will savage anyone who permits him to become too proud.
It sounds like a bear, or it sounds like an animal.
It's not an animal. Well,
okay, what is it? You have to tell me.
Too hard?
Yeah.
Okay. Pause. Give your guesses in the comments below. And now it's fire.
Oh, but what's it?
So
why is there some sort of difference between men and women? I don't understand.
So because it's saying that it's used by men for fighting.
Oh.
And by women for cooking. So it says women often fetter him. And then if you care for him and feed him frequently, then it obeys you and is useful.
Well,
that's also dangerous.
Yeah, no, I never would have got that. That's very true.
Yeah, okay. We'll try a different one. Will you do one more?
Yep.
Okay. This one's not, I don't think this is so hard. So we'll go with this one as the end and see how you do. All right. I'm by nature solitary, scarred by spear and wounded by sword, weary of battle. I frequently see the face of war and fight hateful enemies, yet I hold no hope of help being brought to me in the battle before I'm eventually done to death. In the stronghold of the city, sharp-edged swords, skillfully forged in the flame by smiths, bite deeply into me. I can but await a more fearsome encounter. It is not for me to discover in the city any more of those doctors who heal grievous wounds with roots and herbs. The scars from sword wounds gape wider and wider. Death blows are dealt me by day and by night. Any ideas?
No.
Do you want me to repeat any parts?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the first half is probably the most useful.
Okay.
I'm by nature solitary,
yep.
Scarred by spear and wounded by sword, weary of battle. I frequently see the face of war and fight hateful enemies, yet I hold no hope of help being brought to me in the battle before I'm eventually done to death. I can continue, but I think that's the...
At the beginning, it sounded like a lookout.
It's an object, not a person.
Okay. No, I meant like a place where you look out for.
Oh, like a tower or something.
Yeah.
Okay, not quite, but it is an object.
It's alone. Something by itself. So is it like at the center of a town or at the top of a town? Like where would it be?
Think more in a battle.
Oh, actually inside, like during the battle.
Yeah. It says I frequently see the face of war and fight hateful enemies.
In the battle.
So it's in a battle. It doesn't have any pair or anything like that.
So it's like a cannon or a...
It would be a good guess, but
Is
no.
it
It's a what?
Is it a weapon?
Kind of. Shall I read the second half again now?
Yeah.
In the stronghold of the city, sharp-edged swords, skillfully forged in the flame by smiths, bite deeply into me. I can but await a more fearsome encounter. It is not for me to discover in the city any of those doctors who heal grievous wounds with roots and herbs. The scars from sword wounds gape wider and wider. Death blows are dealt me by day and by night.
I've got no idea. Is it something where they put their...
Something that they hit with swords.
Yeah.
What would that be in a battle?
other people, the shield.
A shield.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a shield. So by nature solitary, you only carry one shield with you.
Yeah, right.
Scarred by spear and wounded by sword.
Always bashing into you. Yeah.
And not ever, I guess the point at the end there with the like not getting healed by doctors and things is like no one fixes up the shield. They just leave the scrapes on it.
In fact, it's almost like, yes, the high point.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. That's the riddles.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
These riddles are easier.
You think? I honestly just find them all very hard because I think I'm just so used to the modern version of riddles that like when you get into the imagery and things, I just get confused. Like it's too much for me. But they're fun. And that was a pretty cool way of doing them.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so
if you section, aren't we? Yeah, next time.
We're done with okay, so the next bit is some Irish. Very, very short little bit of Irish literature.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the Irish one that we're going to be doing. We only get really one story from Irish literature and then some very small lyrics that really aren't that helpful, I think. But the story comes from like a bigger cycle of myths and things like myths and legends that is very, very important to Irish storytelling. So I think that's going to be interesting. But pretty much from here, we've done with Anglo-Saxon literature, excluding like from England, I guess, excluding Irish. And then we're going into Anglo-Norman.
So will we do the Irish, look at the Irish short story and also the lyrics, the three little lyrics, I think?
Yeah, I think so. So the Irish one, I actually will be reading the full text of the bit, so not just the extract that we have here. Okay. But then I think we can just do those lyrics included because I don't think there's all that much to say about them.
Yeah, very tiny. Okay.
They're small. Yeah, and then we can jump straight into Anglo-Norman, which I'm really excited about.
Yes, because this is your thing, Rosie.
The Anglo-Norman is definitely mine because it's got that nice mix of Old French and English, and I did study some Old French at uni, so
this is going to be good.
It's going to be fun for me.
Yeah. And what of contemporary fiction, and what have you been reading this week?
Have I been reading much that's actually contemporary? I've been going back to Shakespeare a little bit, and I'm still reading the Divine Comedy. I'm starting Purgatorio now, but I've just started last night the Absolute book by Elizabeth Knox, which is a New Zealand book, and I have no idea what it's about yet. It's just started with like the protagonist, her sister was killed, and that's pretty much where I've gotten to, is like her dealing with that a little bit, but not sure where it's going to take me. It's supposed to be quite similar to some, I'm not sure that it's actually fantasy. I don't know.
No.
There may be some fantastical elements that come later, but so far it's just like, it feels like just like a crime kind of thing. So I don't know.
So that's good.
I think I like it. And I read Clara and the Sun as well, which was interesting, but I agree. I read some reviews on Goodreads about it, and I agree with what they're saying. It basically, it is a good story. It reads well. It's fun, but it's not saying anything new.
No.
And it had that issue that you find sometimes where because it's written from the perspective of the artificial friend, it's quite stilted in the narration.
Yep. And not plausible at all, obviously. I read The Performer that you recommended to me.
The Performance, yeah.
Performance, sorry. And, well, for a person who's done that play, done Beckett, it's particularly clever. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I loved it as well.
I really enjoyed it. And it brought back made me go right back to my uni days and, doing Beckett and the whole thing. And, I loved it. Really good. And I've got next to me to read The Dickens Boy, Thomas Keneally's story of the son of one of Dickens' sons, who kind of being the son, but being just not anything like his father. And
wow, that'd be interesting.
He's called The Forgotten Dickens Boy or something like that. I can't remember.
I don't think it even crossed my mind that Dickens would have had kids.
No, exactly right. So therein lies the answer to the poor boy's
Mm.
tale, I think. So I have no idea. It's just next to my bed, ready to read, and I haven't started.
That's exciting.
But I thought I'll get into that this week. Is my plan.
Nice.
So, yeah, good stuff.
All right. Well, let us know what you're reading as well in the comments below. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time. All right.
Bye.
Bye.